Alright, so I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan diehard. Of course, if you watch my video, you kind of know that. I'm a little bit biased towards them. But I want to go over their whole roster and tell you why the Indianapolis Colts are probably going to be on top of the AFC South. Let's start with quarterback. You got Phillip Rivers, you got Jacob Eason, and you got Jacoby Brissett. Also, don't forget Chad Swag Kelly's back there. You got 4 decent quarterbacks back there. And I don't think quarterback's going to be huge on your list. And I think Phillip Rivers is enough to win them the Super Bowl if they do eventually make it that far. But let's move on to the next position in running back. As they have Nyheim Hines and Jordan Wilkins as the 2 backups. Nyheim Hines will be a good third down receiving back. You know how Phillip Rivers likes those, like Austin Eckler. And then their main 2 right now, Jonathan Taylor and Marlon Mack. Those 2 are going to be ball hawks. They're going to be ground and pound type team. Kind of like what the 49ers are doing. I think they'll do it on the same level as them too. Don't get me wrong. Next, we move on to our wide receiver core. This is kind of a little bit more of our weak spot with our depth. I'm a little worried about it if we get some injuries. But for some reason, we always find some players that somehow step in and do pretty decent. So, starting off, of course, with T.Y. Hilton, Michael Pittman, Paris Campbell, and then you also have Zach Pascal. Those are kind of like the big 4 guys. Then, the 2 main backups, really, it's going to be, Desmond Patman, and then Darius Fountain being the 2 main backups there for, the 5 and 6 spot. That's kind of my position I'm a little worried about because I would like a little more depth there, a little bit better depth too, but we don't really have that right now. Then we move on to our tight end position where we have Trey Burton there, and of course Mo Alley-Cox is there as well. And then most underrated tight end in the league, Jack Doyle's there as well. He's probably the top 10 tight end, just doesn't get talked about very much. Could be possibly top 5. I'd have to look at it though. Probably not though. Maybe close though. But then we move on to offensive line. You have Costanzo, you have Nelson, you have Ryan Kelly, you have Mark Lewinsky, and then Braden Smith. You can't go wrong with this offensive line. That's 5 big names. Mark Lewinsky, probably the lowest of them all, and probably the position most Colts fans they replace the most. But 4 good offensive linemen and 1 decent one is perfectly fine. So as you can tell, the Colts have a pretty damn good offense. They might be doing a little bit more ground and pound compared to what you're used to seeing, kind of like what the 49ers did last year with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think Phillip Rivers has enough that he can win enough games. I could really see this game going maxed out, possible 14-2, and their lowest right now is 8-8. So with their offense, it's a pretty good offense. I think you're going to see more ground and pound the way you're used to from the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe that's why they don't have as many wide receivers on their depth chart, trying to keep them more healthy. But Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines, Marlon Mack, they're all going to be ground and pound, especially with that offensive line. And they got 3 solid quarterbacks in the building right now, so I'm not too worried about our offense at all. I think it's probably going to be top 15, top 10 offense. Then we move on to our defense. On the defensive line, we have Kemota Toure, Justin Houston. Of course, the big ad there was DeForest Buckner. And then next to him, you still have Tyquan Lewis or Danico Autry. So this defensive line is perfectly fine. And I think it's going to be one of the better ones in the league. Kemota Toure, I expect to break out and get maybe double-digit sacks. And then you have Justin Houston on the other side, too. It's like our Freeney and Mathis days almost again. Then we move on to linebacking. Our linebacker core, I think, is one of the best in the league. As we have Darius Leonard, Anthony Walker, and then Bobby Okereke. And then we have some pretty good depth behind them, too. But those 3 are some pretty good linebackers, especially when Anthony Walker is probably one of the more underrated linebackers in the league that nobody really likes to talk about too much. And you have Darius Leonard in there as well. It's a pretty good linebacking core. Then at corner, you have Xavier Rhodes, you have Rock Ya-Sin, you have Kenny Moore, probably one of the best slot corners in the league. And you have Marvell Tell and Isaiah Rodgers. This is a pretty good cornerback room, if I do say so myself. And then moving on to safeties, you have Malik Hooker, and then you have Julian Blackman. And at strong safety, you have Kari Willis. I could possibly see us moving on from Malik Hooker, at the trade deadline, if Julian Blackman lives up to what people think he's going to be, or at least what Chris Bauer thinks he would be. So that's also a possibility. But this defense is something else. Adding DeForest Buckner in that middle of the defense just going to add so much value. He's going to probably take up most of the double teams, which is going to leave our edge rushers in Justin Houston, Camille Couture, 1-on-1, which is not a good combination that you want to have. Then adding to that, Darius Leonard, Anthony Walker, and Bobby Okereke as the 3 linebackers, they're going to be able to fill up all those gaps. Pretty good in pass coverage as well. Our secondary is probably our weakest spot on our defense, to be honest. But Malik Hooker's a great free safety, and if Julian Blackman can keep up the productivity that Malik Hooker is doing, if we do trade him at the deadline, that's pretty damn good. And Carter Willis was excellent last year when he was just playing strong safety. Also, I could see Julian Blackman playing more of a dime role as well for us. And Xavier Rhodes coming back to his old cornerback coach, he's going to excel again. He's probably going to go back to his Pro Bowl self. Just if you admit it to yourself, he more than likely will. And then you have Rock Hudson, who's developing well. He didn't do so hot the first half of the season. Then you saw him do the second half of the season, where he actually had Pierre Desir and Kenny Moore healthy beside him, where he was just guarding number 2 guys. That's where he did really well, and that's where he excelled at, and that's where he looked like could be a possible Pro Bowl corner, just facing number 2 wide receivers. And then Kenny Moore against slot guys, he's just amazing. Kenny Moore is amazing against the slot people, and probably our best corner on the team. And then Mark Littell and Isaiah Rogers backing him up. 2 long, lengthy corners that do a pretty good job for our depth. This defense, I think, has a possibility to be top 5 at the end of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. More likely, definitely will be top 10 at least, though. So, that's basically the Colts roster / overview. And I think the max for this team could be 14. It's probably more than likely 14-2. I don't see it possible, really. I don't think we'll reach that, but that's the max for this team's 4-2. And this floor for this team is 8-8 for us. I don't see us going anywhere under 8-8 unless something terrible happens. Like our wide receiver depth proves out to be our complete weakness that is our kryptonite, and we're just screwed. But remember, if Phil Rivers struggles, we have Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby Brissett is usually pretty careful with the ball and can win some games by being careful with the ball. So, I want your guys' thoughts and opinions on the Indianapolis Colts roster. Also, if you enjoyed this video, I want to hear it down below as well, because I wanted to try something new here. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about it. So, make sure to put that down below as well. And put your record predictions for my Indianapolis Colts down there as well. I want all the hate. Put it down there. Put honest opinions down there, please. So, thank you guys for watching, and make sure to click those links down there, as there's Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon, and also my sponsor, FNX, down there. Of course, they make, pre-workout stuff and, some fruity flavors, so it is pretty damn good. I have tried it myself. Make sure to go get those gains. And, of course, just make sure to keep the sports belief flowing throughout the day.